Good afternoon, everybody. This how-to video is going to be how to marbleize a countertop that is laminate right now. Now, I am going to be using the Giani do-it-yourself marbleizing kit. It comes with everything you need. Comes with the base paint, comes with the marble colors, which are those, comes with the brushes that you need, comes with drops, cloths, sponge, and also the base color. Now this is going to be a white marble with a gray type of marble accents in there is the kit that I got. So stick around, we'll get started. I'll show you how we do it. All right, guys, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to clean the countertop real good, and then you're gonna wanna sand it. I'm gonna be sanding it with a 40 grit sandpaper just to rough it all up, get any type of imperfections or anything on the countertop off. And then once you're done with that, you're gonna wanna take a wet, damp rag and just wipe it down 2 or 3 times, letting it dry in between coats to get all the debris and dust off of the countertop. All right, after the countertop is clean, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put painter's tape. I'm gonna do it all across the mirrors here, on the wall here, down the sides, and then underneath, on the cabinets and everything underneath, you take these drop cloths that came with it and you need to tape it on and go down onto the floor. Make sure it comes down over the edge, because as you're doing it, you're going to have paint and epoxy dripping over the edge, and you do not want to get it on the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and tape all this stuff off now, and then we'll get started. Alright guys, well, it is all cleaned, it is all sanded, it is all taped up. I took an old or new kitchen garbage bag, cut it in half and filled in these holes, just because there's probably going to be some that's going to drip inside here, so that's just to catch that. So it is all wiped off, it is all clean and dry. The next step is to take the prime coat, the base, which is this one, labeled number 1. They actually have them labeled for you so you know what order to go in. So I'm going to mix that up. This countertop is going to take 2 coats is what they recommend. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to do the backsplash with the little foam brush, which is what they said for the first coat. And then the second coat, you try to get it with the foam roller best you can, and that'll smooth it all out. And then the base of it, you know, everything down here will be done with the foam roller here, and you're going to want to save that roller, clean it out, save it when you're done to use it for the second coat. Plus you're also going to need that for the epoxy at the very end to put the final high gloss finish on it. So let me get you set up. We're going to start painting. Okay guys, the first coat of the base white paint is done. They say to put at least 2 coats on there. I am probably going to end up putting 3 because I have enough to put 3. That'll give it a good solid foundation for when I come back and do the marble lines on it. So right now guys, that is step 1 or 2, 3 actually. Cleaning, sanding, first coat of prime base. 2 more coats to go on this, and then I'll be back with you and I'll show you how we start marbleizing it. Okay guys, now I am now done. This is the 3rd coat of paint on top of this laminate vanity top. This is the 3rd coat. I'm going to let this dry now. I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then I will show you what the next step is. They give you a little practice piece to practice the marble vein thing. So I'm going to go look up some patterns, which is what you should do also. Look up some patterns to see how they flow through, you know, the marble to make it look natural. Look that up. Okay guys, the way this is supposed to work, you're supposed to take the gray paint and just draw like a vein and then spray it with water and then brush it out with the brush. So we're gonna see how this is gonna go. If you mess up, they say you can always just paint over it and start again. So let's see what we get here. I'm gonna start in the back. Do a little vein like that. Spray it with some water. And like so. Alright guys, well there you go. I'm going to set you up on a time lapse and I'm going to do a little area here and see how it turns out. Alright, this is the first of like 3 parts of the marbleizing. Put the paint down, sprayed it with the water, spread it with the brush. Now I gotta let this dry, and then I'm gonna come back and wherever they meet the wall, back there to backsplash, I'm gonna do a little fade up on all of them to make it kind of blend in and go up, you know, up the side of the backsplash. But that's got to dry for a little bit now. I'm going to let that dry probably for a couple hours. Make sure it's all good, because when I respray it with water, I don't want it to reactivate what's there already. So I'm going to let that dry real good. I'm going to come back. I'm going to run it up the backsplash and also around the front edge. Like here, it's going to run down like that. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll show you what the next step is after I'm done with that. Alright guys, well I got the backsplash done. You can see the veins run up into the backsplash. And then I also have the wraparound side coming down around the front. Now I do need to touch up certain places, like back here. It's a little bit heavy in there, so they give you another small little can of white paint and a real porous sponge, so you just kind of dab it on there. So I'm going to do that. There's a couple places. There's that one, there's that one back there, that one there I don't like either, so I'm just going to dab those a little bit to kind of break up that gray a little bit. Probably not today. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll probably do that maybe tomorrow or the following day, but I will show you when I'm done later. Alright guys, so the next step that we're going to do, now that this is all nice and dry, the next step is it comes with a white base and a really porous sponge. And what we're going to do, we're going to mix this white paint up, we're going to pour it on a plate, we're going to take the sponge, dip it in, dip it off so it's very lightly coated, and then just lightly pat over some of these darker areas to kind of break it up and diffuse it a little bit, just like that. And we'll see how that turns out. I'm not going to do it on all of them, just on a couple little certain sections that are a little bit dark. I'm just going to try to lighten them up a little bit. So let me get you set up and we'll get going. Alright guys, well as you can maybe tell, it's very subtle in there, very subtle, kind of broken up. I only did it in a few places on here, like right in there. But see, you really can't even tell, and that's the way you want it to be. You want it to where it's not even noticeable. Now I gotta let that dry for a couple hours, and then I'm gonna come back, and I got the epoxy resin all set up. Probably going to need 2 kits. It comes with 3, I'm probably gonna need 2. Actually, probably only gonna need 1.5 to do this area. But we'll see how it goes. I'll be back with you then. Alright guys, once everything is completely dry and clean, the final step is the ultra epoxy resin and the epoxy activator. Now what they tell you to do is you need to take the activator, pour it into the can, and then you need to stir it for 3.5 minutes. And they are very, very precise on that amount of time. Why, I don't know, but they say 3.5 minutes. So you put it in, you stir it for 3.5 minutes, and then what you're going to do is you're going to just pour it along the edge, and then like in the big area here, like you go across the edge, you come back, you go across the middle, and then you come back on the edge, and only do little sections at a time so that you can do it. And then you take the brush and you go up the backsplash with the brush, and then you take the roller and you roll out the rest of the counter and then around the edges. So that's what I'm going to be doing here with this. So let me get you set up, and then I'll start mixing it, and then you'll just watch me do what I just explained. Alright guys, well it is done. Now this stuff is a self-leveling stuff, so it will level itself out and it will be perfectly flat and shiny when it is dry. Now, they say to wait at least an hour and then remove all the tape around every place that you taped. If you did the sink, do the sink, the backdrop, the wall, everything. Because what they say, you got an hour to 2 hours. You can't do it in any less than an hour and no more than 2 hours. If you do it in less than an hour, you're going to create bubbles and ripples because it's not completely set. If you do it after 2 hours, it's going to be dry to where when you go to pull it off, it's going to be cemented in place. So you want to try to do it a little over an hour. You go across, you pull all the tape off real easy, and then you let it dry. Now, with that being said, you cannot put anything on top of this countertop for 3 days. Nothing whatsoever. After 3 days, very, very light stuff. No soap dispensers, no nothing. You might be able to lay a toothbrush on it, something like that. But it takes a full 7 to 9 days to cure completely before you can actually start using it again. So what I would suggest, wait at least 7 days before you put anything on it. Do not touch it for 7 days. Just let it dry, let it sit, and then you should be good. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how you marbleize a countertop. That is it, guys. That was this how-to video. I hope I explained it in a good enough way for you. This was actually my first time doing this, and I watched a lot of videos, did a lot of rehearsal before I told you how to do it. So hopefully I did it good. If I did, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you thought I did a good job, even if you thought I did a bad job, and what I can approve improve in future how-to videos. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet for more how-to videos, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.